this was a really cool moment, especially for the angler, and it was just mostly complete luck all around. There's a lot of times on this river where you'll be bringing in a small to medium sized rainbow, and it's happened to me many times where a client's bringing in a fish like this, and a huge brown trout comes in and either grabs that rainbow, holds onto it, tries to eat it, because that's a food form for them. They see those little stocked rainbows every day. And some of the biggest fish in the river eat almost exclusively stocked rainbows. And 999,000 times out of whatever, that what happens is that big brown will grab the rainbow and either shake it around or try and kind of hang on to it. And then the moment it feels that something is wrong, this fish doesn't feel right, it's attached to something, they usually let go, like almost always.
This is as someone has caught a stocker rainbow,
Yes,
they're
yes.
pulling it in, and this big brown will come and
gnaw
on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had one instance where a client caught a small rainbow, the brown grabbed a hold of it, and we fought that fish for 5 minutes just on the strength and willpower of that fish holding on to that rainbow. It was not hooked. It was but it just wasn't letting go, and we got it fairly close to the boat, and I was reaching for the net, and as we were pulling that fish up off the bottom, it finally just let go.
Dang.
So
that's what was going on.
That's what was going on. I had
this lady.
I had a client who she had never fly fished before, ever. This was her first day fly fishing in her entire life. And this was on Memorial Day weekend. I usually don't guide on Memorial Day weekends. I can't remember why I was out there on a Saturday. But I'm glad I was.
Everywhere.
Oh my God, there's so many people. And I was like, the last thing I expect on a day like this is to catch a really huge fish because of all the fishing pressure. She was catching plenty of fish. It was a great day already. Numbers kind of day, just perfect, And so she's bringing in a rainbow like this. This was at the end of May, Memorial Day weekend. So there's still some caddis hanging around. We're fishing caddis pupa, like a little size 14 Sunday special, and she hooks this rainbow on that caddis pupa pattern. And as she's bringing it in, this huge brown comes up and grabs it. And it's still, no matter what happens to anybody that sees that in and of itself is super exciting. Just an encounter with a fish like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I was getting all excited. I was like, oh my God, not sure quite what to do. And, a few seconds go by and she's still bent. The rod's still bent and tight to something down there. And I was like, oh, okay, he's going to swim around for a bit. Let's just enjoy this. That fish is going to let go. Whatever, enjoy it, and I'm kind of coaching her through fighting this fish, and this fight is not changing. I mean, the bend in this rod is still a bend of a really big fish. And at this point I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on, but let's just play this out. Let's just treat this like she's actually hooked this big fish. The water was a little cloudy and off color that day from some recent rain, so it was kind of stained. And so I couldn't really see what she was fighting down there. And that actually ended up being to our advantage because that big fish couldn't see us and didn't freak out. And so we kind of chased this fish around a small area and stayed right on top of it. This was 4X tippet, and she's using a 5-weight rod. And look, I will also say women anglers are a lot better at finesse and not freaking out.
Coachability.
Absolutely, than men, because most guys, had they seen the size of this fish, they would have put way too much pressure on the fish.
They would have probably bass hook set.
Oh yeah, freaked out. But she did amazing. She was it was like she'd done it 1,000 times before. Cool, calm, collected. We battled this thing for, I don't know, felt like forever. It's probably only 10 minutes. And finally get it rolled up near the surface next to the boat. I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening, and scoop the net up under it. And it was just a huge 31-inch male brown trout.
31 inches.
It was probably 16 pounds-ish. We didn't weigh it, but
my goodness.
on her first day fly fishing.
Wow.
She caught a handful of rainbows this big before. Not only her first day fly fishing, that was the first brown trout of any kind she'd ever caught.
She should just retire from
fishing.
Yeah. Never again. That is it's a once in a lifetime fish. I've always heard it. Once you hit 30,
that's the mark.
That's the mark of that's a once in a lifetime.
And it's hard. 30 is bigger than what people think. You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I've caught a 30-incher." It's like 30 is big.
Yeah,
it's really big.
Mm-hmm. And she caught on her first day.
And what I was most curious about when we got the fish in the net is like, how is this fish hooked? How did this happen? You know? And the rainbow that she initially caught that the brown ate or tried to eat was gone. I don't know where it was, but that Sunday special was hooked perfectly in the roof of this fish's mouth with the line coming just right around the snout between the two, like perfect. Could not have hooked it in a more perfect place.
Wow.
And either during the course of that fight, the brown either ingested that rainbow or somehow it shook loose and it's swimming around out there, and the fly, you know, whatever happened, the fly that we landed that fish on, size 14 hook, was in the roof of that fish's mouth, which the odds of that are astronomically low.
Yeah, almost zero.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Great story.